In 2002, when the co-founder of Crocs saw the prototype of the shoes, his first reaction was that they were ugly. However, despite their unappealing appearance, these shoes went on to create a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company and were even spotted on the feet of celebrities and on the runway at Paris Fashion Week. The question remains, how were three founders with no background in footwear able to build such a wildly successful shoe company? The story of Crocs is a masterclass for aspiring entrepreneurs, but the story does take some bizarre turns. Be amazed by the incredible story of Crocs. Chapter 1. Sailing into Destiny. In 2002, Lyndon Hansen was going through a difficult period in his life. After separating from his wife, he was forced to sleep on a friend's couch and lost his job in computer hardware marketing. To make matters worse, his mother had recently passed away from cancer. His friends George Bodecker and Scott Siemens, who had known Lyndon for a long time, could see he needed a pick-me-up. They organized a sailing trip around the Caribbean to help clear his head. Scott was a successful inventor who had made a good living from developing and patenting products and was already semi-retired at the age of 48 at the time of the trip. However, during the sailing trip, Scott asked Lyndon and George to try on a pair of rubber-like clogs he had been working on. He was inspired by a similar product he saw on a business trip to Canada, and the shoes were created by a manufacturing company called Foam Creations Incorporated, based in Quebec. They were made of a special resin that was water and odor-resistant, slip-resistant on boat decks, and molded to the foot. The only issue Scott saw was that there was no backstrap, so he added one himself. He was optimistic about finding investors and distributing the new clogs in the U.S. Despite Scott's excitement, he introduced his two friends to the shoes, but they were skeptical due to their unattractive appearance. However, after wearing the shoes and finding them to be both lightweight and comfortable, Lyndon and George had a change of heart. They were so impressed with the shoes that they decided to go into business together. They named the company Crocs as a nod to the versatility of the shoes, which, like crocodiles, can thrive in both land and water. George was an accomplished individual in his own right. Despite a difficult childhood, he started a lawn mowing business at the age of 10, excelled as a student athlete with a college scholarship, and went on to own more than 100 Domino's pizza franchises and serve as an executive at the sandwich chain Quiznos. Although the three friends had a good amount of business experience, the only problem was their lack of knowledge about the shoe industry. The first step in this new venture was to create a plan for distributing Canadian shoes in America. Lyndon took the lead in developing the plan, while Scott focused on improving the product and George invested a significant amount of money to get things started. They set up shop in an office in Boulder, Colorado, and placed their first order for the product from their supplier. Next, they needed to figure out how to sell the shoes. They knew that the shoes would be useful on a boat deck, so they headed to a Florida boat show in 2002, hoping that the novelty and uniqueness of the product would pique the interest of potential buyers. Their tactic was to throw the shoes at passing visitors and encourage them to try them on, despite their initial skepticism about the shoes' appearance. This approach proved highly successful, and they reportedly sold around 200 pairs of Crocs at the boat show. Chapter 2. From Humble Beginnings. The Crocs co-founders were pleasantly surprised by the overwhelming response they received from workers in various industries who found the shoes not only suitable for boating, but also ideal for hospitals, kitchens, restaurants, and other workplaces where employees are on their feet for extended periods. They had struck a chord with the public and discovered an untapped consumer market. Despite this, they were still unaware of the magnitude of the company would reach. Crocs enjoys massive success from an unusual source: healthcare workers, particularly among nurses. Comfortable, lightweight, and easy to clean, Crocs have taken the medical community by storm. Nurses who spend long hours on their feet appreciate the ergonomic design that provides support for their feet, legs, and back. They are also popular because they can be easily sterilized and provide good traction on wet floors. But it's not just the functionality of Crocs that has made them so popular. The wide range of bright colors and patterns means that nurses can express their individuality and add a pop of color to their work attire. Despite criticism that Crocs were just a passing trend, the company continued to experience steady growth. In 2003, Crocs sold 76,000 pairs of shoes, and between 2005 and 2006, their revenue increased by 226%. The founders made a smart move by acquiring Foam Creations Incorporated, allowing them exclusive rights to the Croslite foam material. Despite criticism of Crocs being a passing trend, the company continued to grow. They allowed retailers to buy a minimum of 24 pairs, reducing risk and increasing stocking in stores of all sizes. The publicity, despite some negativity, proved valuable, and demand for Crocs rose quickly. In 2006, the company had its initial public offering, raising $239 million and becoming the highest initial public offering for footwear ever, valued at over $1 billion. The rapid growth brought in millions for the founders and investors, but also proved challenging to keep up with, causing stress for the founders who worked around the clock to keep expanding the business. However, the breakneck pace of growth took a toll on the founders, leading to difficulties later in 2006. Chapter 3. Madness ensues. George, the co-founder of Crocs, George Bodecker, made a chilling phone call to his brother-in-law just a few months after the company's IPO. According to the brother-in-law's police statement, George threatened to harm him. George's sudden aggressive behavior, both in and out of the office, caused alarm, and the reason for his outburst remains unclear. After several incidents, George was dismissed from the board of directors of Crocs, which only escalated his anger. Although George played a crucial role in the formation of the company and managed it in the early years, his erratic behavior made him a controversial figure in the company's history. Crocs distanced themselves from George as much as possible, especially after he was arrested for allegedly driving under the influence of alcohol in 2012. Despite claiming that pop star Taylor Swift was driving the car, he was drunk and alone in the car, causing negative headlines for Crocs. After George stepped down as CEO of Crocs, he was replaced by Ron Snyder, a friend of Lyndon who had allowed him to crash on his couch during a difficult time. Under Ron's leadership, Crocs entered a new era of success. The company expanded from carrying 2 models of shoes to 250 models and increased its revenue and stock values. Crocs also acquired Jibbitz for $20 million, which was a company that made accessories to decorate Crocs shoes. This acquisition was a stroke of genius as children's interest in the brand skyrocketed. They also established licensing agreements with companies such as Disney and the NBA. However, the 2008 financial crisis resulted in decreased consumer spending, decreased revenue for Crocs, and a series of layoffs. Despite these challenges, Crocs continued to face difficulties in the stock market in the following years. Chapter 4. Rough waters ahead. During the financial crisis of 2008, when Crocs was struggling, the company was hit with allegations from Select LLC of violating a 1999 patent for a material similar to Crocs' signature Croslite material. Additionally, manufacturers of Crocs-like shoes claimed that Crocs was just a copy of an Italian shoe that existed before the brand's creation. These accusations sent Crocs' stock price tumbling further. Despite the speculation that their design was ripped off, Crocs has managed to bounce back and is currently thriving. So how did they turn things around for the infamous and often criticized shoe? Rapid growth can appear positive, but for Crocs, it was the beginning of a challenging time. Overexpansion and a surplus of inventory left the company struggling from 2008 to 2018, according to Fast Company. But suddenly Crocs stock began to recover. This was due to a combination of effective marketing and recognition from celebrities like Shia LaBeouf wearing their shoes. Although Crocs tried various designs to appeal to a wider customer base, they eventually realized that their distinctive design, which elicits strong opinions, was their strength. People either love or hate Crocs. There is no in-between. Chapter 5. Star Power. Crocs then adopted a message of individuality, creativity, and acceptance. The CMO of Crocs stated that the brand's fans view themselves as unique and bold. Crocs tried to position itself as having a cool, carefree attitude where customers don't worry about what others think. To reinforce this message, Crocs formed strategic partnerships with celebrities like Justin Bieber and Post Malone and celebrity chef Mario Batali. One of their collaborations was even with Kentucky Fried Chicken, which included scented fried chicken scented charms. With this versatility, Crocs transformed into a cultural chameleon and was able to adapt to a range of partnerships, from high concept to bizarre. High-fashion retailers and brands such as Barney's and Balenciaga also jumped on the trend, creating custom platform Crocs that graced the runways of Paris and sold out instantly in stores. Crocs' strategy of pursuing collaborations was deliberate and focused on partnerships that would generate significant attention. This led to partnerships with unexpected brands such as Cheerios cereal and being worn by high-end fashion models, providing continual publicity. Another major factor contributing to Crocs' success was the pandemic, where the desire for comfortable footwear led to a surge in sales and a 300% increase in stock values. This was further supported by a shift towards online sales and a reduction in costly retail locations. By focusing on e-commerce and prioritizing online sales, Crocs was able to boost its revenue to a record high of $3.6 billion in 2022, a whopping 53.7% increase over 2021. Despite being in the footwear industry, Crocs faces the challenge of staying relevant in fashion. The question remains if Crocs is just a passing trend or a permanent staple in global culture. However, with a 20-year history and worldwide recognition, as well as its impressive financial success to the tune of a $7.31 billion market cap, Crocs is proving to be more than just a fad, and even though its founders once considered the shoes unattractive. In business, following your gut and being relentless is a proven strategy to success, and the Crocs story is case in point. The Chinese Communist Party is planning to use your children to dominate the Western work. Take a look at our video on TikTok and be alarmed as to what is happening to your kids' fragile minds.